two criminal empires. One built on silence, suits, and centuries of tradition. The other built on blood, bullets, and billion-dollar tunnels. The Italian Mafia has survived for over 150 years. The Sinaloa Cartel makes more money in a week than most countries earn in a year. But here's the question nobody wants to answer honestly. Which one is actually more dangerous? Today we go round by round. History, money, violence, political corruption, global reach. And at the end, I'm giving you my verdict. Trust me, it might surprise you. Because power always follows the cash. The mob built wealth brilliantly. Construction contracts, garbage collection, unions, restaurants. They didn't just sell drugs. They infiltrated legitimate businesses and bled them dry from the inside. Invisible, sustainable. At their height in the 1970s and 80s, the American mob pulled in an estimated $50 billion a year across all families combined. That's not a criminal operation. That's a parallel economy running alongside the real one. But here's where the cartel changes the game entirely. Sinaloa's annual revenue is estimated between $3 and $39 billion from drug trafficking alone. That number is wide because most of it is completely invisible, laundered through shell companies, real estate, and cash businesses across 3 continents. El Chapo himself was worth an estimated $14 billion at his peak. Not one of the richest criminals, one of the richest people on the entire planet. And the cartel didn't stop at drugs. They moved into extortion, kidnapping, oil theft, and human trafficking. Multiple revenue streams, all hidden, all global. Round 2, winner, the cartel. The scale of drug money is something the mafia simply never achieved. Round 3. The darkest one. And I'll be straight with you here. The Italian Mafia had a strict philosophy about violence. It was a tool, calculated, strategic, never random. The old rule was simple. You never kill civilians. You never kill cops. You never kill journalists. Not because they were moral people, but because unnecessary killing brought government heat. It was bad for business. When that rule broke down in the 1980s, when the Corleonese clan started assassinating judges and prosecutors, and even bombing public spaces, it was the beginning of the end. The Italian public turned on them completely. The government responded with everything it had. Mass trials, witness protection, RICO-style laws. The mafia never recovered from breaking its own rules. Now the cartel. There are no rules. Between 2006 and 2023, Mexico recorded over 350,000 homicides directly linked to cartel violence. Entire towns were emptied overnight. Journalists were beheaded on camera as warnings. Police chiefs were assassinated on their first day on the job. In some regions, the cartel didn't just kill rivals. They wiped out entire families. In 2019, gunmen ambushed a group of American Mexican Mormon families driving through Sonora in broad daylight. 9 people killed, including 6 children. That wasn't a mistake. That was a deliberate message to anyone watching. Round 3 winner, the cartel. It's not even close. The mafia's restraint was actually a survival strategy. The cartel chose pure terror instead. Round 4, corruption. Because the most dangerous organization isn't the one with the most guns. It's the one that owns the people holding the guns. The mob mastered corruption for decades. Judges on the payroll, police captains getting envelopes every month, politicians whose entire careers were funded by mob money. In 1950s, New York, it was nearly impossible to get a city construction contract without mafia approval. In Sicily, they didn't just bribe politicians, they created them. They delivered entire villages of votes in exchange for immunity and government contracts. But even at their most powerful, the American mob never fully controlled a government. They influenced it. They bent it. There's a crucial difference. The Sinaloa Cartel crossed that line completely. During El Chapo's trial in New York in 2019, witness testimony revealed that the cartel paid Enrique Peña Nieto, the sitting president of Mexico, $100 million in bribes. The president, not a local sheriff, not a regional governor, the head of state. Police departments didn't just take bribes. They became full cartel enforcement units. Elite military squads defected to work directly for drug lords. And El Chapo escaped from maximum security prison twice. The second time through a mile-long tunnel complete with ventilation, electric lighting, and a motorcycle on rails built underneath his cell. That level of operation doesn't happen without serious government cooperation. Round 4, winner, the cartel. Bribing a president and escaping prison twice puts them in a completely different category. Round 5, global reach. Where do these organizations actually operate today? The Italian Mafia's international footprint is real and serious. The 'Ndrangheta from Calabria, not Cosa Nostra, but still Italian Mafia, is currently considered the most powerful criminal organization in all of Europe. They control an estimated 80% of Europe's cocaine supply and have active cells in Germany, Australia, Canada, and South America. The 5 families still operate in New York, though they're a shadow of what they were in their golden era. The cartel's global map works differently. They don't occupy territory outside Mexico the way the Mafia does in Italy. Instead, they supply the world. Sinaloa has distribution partnerships with criminal networks in Italy, Spain, the Balkans, and West Africa. But the real game changer is fentanyl. Fentanyl is 50 times more powerful than heroin. Cheaper to produce, easier to smuggle, and far more addictive. The cartel manufactures it using chemical precursors imported from China, then floods the United States with it. Over 80,000 Americans die from fentanyl every single year. And those numbers have only climbed since 2024. Think about that. 80,000 deaths a year. That's not a drug problem. That's a weapon. Round 5 winner, the cartel. Fentanyl alone gives them a global impact no criminal organization in history has ever achieved. Round 6. Let's have some fun, because Hollywood has completely lied to us about both of these worlds. The Godfather gives us a mafia of honor, loyalty, and reluctant violence. Don Corleone is basically a wise grandfather who occasionally orders murders. The reality? Henry Hill, the real man behind Goodfellas, said the mob was mostly just, quote, a bunch of guys trying not to get killed by each other. Sammy the Bull Gravano, John Gotti's own underboss, admitted to 19 murders. He wasn't elegant or calm about it. He was paranoid and terrified for most of his career. Narcos on Netflix turned El Chapo into an action hero. Daring escapes, beautiful women, private jets. The reality? El Chapo spent years hiding in remote mountain caves, eating whatever his guards could scrounge. His own sons were kidnapped by rivals. He was betrayed repeatedly by people he personally trusted. And today he sits in ADX Florence, the most secure prison in America, with 23 hours of solitary confinement every single day. No sunlight, no contact, nothing. The movies make both worlds look like adventure. The reality for almost everyone involved ends in one of 2 places: a prison cell or an early grave. Okay, final verdict. You voted at the start. Let's see if I changed your mind. The Italian Mafia built something genuinely remarkable. 150 years of survival, billions in revenue. Governments and businesses infiltrated across 2 continents. And they did it with structure, hierarchy, and discipline. However twisted and violent that structure was. You have to respect the architecture of what they built, even if everything it stood for was wrong. But the Sinaloa Cartel exists on a completely different level of danger in 2026. They control the drug supply of an entire continent. They corrupted a sitting president. They weaponized fentanyl and are killing 80,000 people a year with it. And unlike the Mafia, which informants, RICO laws, and public outrage eventually dismantled, the cartel survives because the very institutions meant to destroy them are the ones protecting them instead. El Chapo is in a box in Colorado, but Sinaloa still runs at full power because it was never about one man. It was about a system so deeply embedded in Mexican society, politics, and economy that removing it completely may actually be impossible. The Mafia was dangerous. The cartel is a full-scale crisis. My verdict: Sinaloa Cartel, more dangerous in 2026, and the gap is only growing. Now I want to hear from you. Did this video change your vote? Drop Mafia or Cartel in the comments right now. And tell me which organization you want me to go deeper on next. The real history, the real bosses, the real money. I'll make that video next. Subscribe if you're new. And remember, in 2026, these organizations are still very much alive. This isn't history. This is happening right now.